Hi, welcome back to Wallflowers. So, today I want to talk about something that I think every single person who buys groceries in this country needs to know. And I want to be very clear with you as we go through this. I'm going to tell you what is confirmed fact. I'm going to tell you where the evidence is pointing. And I'm going to tell you what the genuine fears are, because I think you deserve all three, clearly labelled. This is about the price you pay at the supermarket, or more specifically, whether the price you pay will be the same as the price of the person standing next to you will pay. The answer, based on everything currently happening, is it may not be. I'll also give you 5 things you can do right now to protect yourself, and you'll want to stay for those. Some people say, where is this heading? It sounds like something out of Black Mirror. I want to walk you through why 2026 feels considerably less fictional. Fact: major UK supermarkets, including Tesco, Sainsbury's, and Asda, are currently rolling out electronic shelf labels. These are digital price displays that replace the paper tags you currently see attached to supermarket shelves. Instead of paper label, someone has to physically change. These are small screens connected wirelessly to a central system, which means the price displayed can be changed remotely, instantly, from a central computer without anyone walking the aisle. Fact: the rollout is already underway. Sainsbury's has been trialling electronic shelf labels in a number of stores. Tesco has spoken about their investment in digital infrastructure. This is not something that might happen in the distant future. It's happening now. So the infrastructure is going in. The question is, what will it be used for? Fact: dynamic pricing, the practice of changing prices based on demand, time, or individual customer data, already exists in sectors you use every day. When you book a flight, the price changes depending on when you search. Depends on how full the plane is and how close you are to the travel date. When you use Uber, the fare goes up in busy periods. That's called surge pricing. You're already living with dynamic pricing. You've just been calling it something else. Now, here is where this moves from abstract to uncomfortably concrete. Fact: in 2023, the American fast food chain Wendy's announced plans to introduce dynamic pricing on their digital menu boards. The price of your burger would go up during the lunch rush. They later clarified their intentions, but the announcement had already caused a significant public backlash. And it revealed something important. The technology and the intention are already there. But here's what I really want you to focus on, because I think this is the most important fact in this entire video. Fact: you're already paying a different price to your neighbour at the supermarket. If you have a Tesco Club card and your neighbour doesn't, you're paying less for the same item. The club card price and the shelf price are different. That's already a 2-tier pricing system. It's been normalised and we barely notice it anymore. Well, here's the question. I want to plant in your mind, if a supermarket can already charge 2 different prices for the same item based on whether you hold their card or not, What is the logical next step? Fact. If you use a supermarket loyalty card, Tesco Club Card, Nectar, Boots Advantage, that supermarket holds a detailed record of everything you've ever bought using that card. Every item, every quantity, every frequency, every brand choice. So where does the evidence point? That data is extraordinarily valuable, not just understanding you as a shopper, but for understanding how you respond to the price. If you consistently purchase the same branded product for 2 years, the same brand of coffee, the same washing powder, then you've demonstrated what economists call price inelasticity. You are, based on your own behaviour, telling the supermarket that you'll pay more for that item before you ever switch brands. That information, combined with electronic shelf labels that can change prices in real time, creates a technical possibility that didn't exist before. Didn't exist 5 years ago. A price set specifically for you. Now, the fear is the European Consumer Organisation has raised formal concerns over personalised pricing. The pricing of setting individual prices based on individual customer data, specifically in the context of loyalty schemes and digital infrastructure. If a supermarket knows that you buy a particular product every week without fail, and they know from your data that you have never once bought the own brand alternative, they now have the information to charge you a higher price for that product than they charge someone whose data suggests that they would switch. Not because the product costs more, because the data suggests you'll pay more. This is exactly what Black Mirror Nosedive depicted. Not as a fantasy, not as a warning. Maryland's lawmakers apparently agreed because they did something about it. Fact. In April 2026, the state of Maryland in the United States became one of the first jurisdictions in the world to pass legislation specifically banning dynamic pricing in grocery stores. The legislation was direct. It prohibited grocery retailers from using algorithms to change prices based on demand. Maryland didn't ban loyalty cards. They didn't ban sales or promotions. They specifically targeted the practice of algorithmically driven prices changing at the point of sale. That is, a government looking at what's coming and drawing a line before it arrives. Fact. The Bank of England and UK economic bodies have raised concerns about the impact of algorithmic pricing on inflation and consumer welfare. This is not fringe commentary. This is mainstream economic concern. The UK has no equivalent legislation yet. The infrastructure is actually going in now, ahead of any law that might govern how it's used. I want to speak directly to our community for a moment. Because when we talk about personalised pricing, about the possibility of different people paying different prices for the same item, it's not an abstract consumer issue. It has a human cost, and that cost is not evenly distributed. Who is most at risk from a system like this? People on fixed incomes, pensioners, people on benefits, who buy the same items every week because that's what they can afford and what they know. Their consistency, which is born of necessity, becomes a data signal. People who are less digitally confident, who may not be aware of the implications of the data they're sharing, or who have fewer tools to compare prices across platforms and stores. People living in areas with fewer supermarket options, where switching to a competitor is simply not practical. The people who most need to pay less could be charged more. I want to say that again because I think it matters. The people who most need to pay less could be charged more, not because of anything they've done, but because of what their data reveals about their options. I don't want to leave you with just a concern. I want to leave you with something useful. 1, be conscious of what your loyalty card data is telling the supermarket. You don't have to stop using it. The discounts are real and they matter, but it's worth knowing that every scan is building a profile. 2, vary your shopping occasionally. If you always buy the same branded item, try the own brand version once in a while. Not because it's always better, sometimes it isn't, but because it signals price sensitivity in your data. A shopper who switches is a shopper who cannot be reliably charged more. 3, pay attention to shelf prices, not just loyalty prices. The gap between the two is the gap that matters. If that gap grows over time, that's worth noting. 4, consider food initiatives and discount stores for your regular items. No algorithms, no data collection, the same price for every single person who walks through the door. That equality is part of their value, and it's easy to overlook. 5, stay informed and stay vocal. Maryland acted because their public noticed and their representatives responded. The UK regulatory conversation is beginning. Consumer voices matter in that conversation, and yours is one of them. So I want to ask you something, and I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Is there a line, a point where you would change how you shop, or where you shop, or how you pay? If you felt that your personal data was being used to set your individual price, would you change it? I'll read every response. That's exactly the kind of conversation our community does really, really well. And I enjoy reading those responses. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this video was useful to you, please do share it, because this is the kind of information that I think genuinely matters. And the more people who know about it, the better. As always, please take care. Remember you're loved. And the world is a better place with you in it. Bye, love.